can you explain what it means to be a part of this club?
Sure. Well, I think it's important to recognize that WPSPJ is a campus chapter of a wider national organization. So we are members of the Society of Professional Journalists nationally, which is the oldest and most broad-based journalism advocacy group in the United States, started in 1909. And it contains journalists from around the country, journalism educators who are committed to First Amendment rights, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, who advocate for journalists who have been attacked, who have been imprisoned across the world. Just a wonderful organization. And so what we do in our campus chapter is to try to strengthen the journalism culture on campus, to try to give students like yourself an opportunity outside of class to meet with like-minded students, right? Maybe have discussions across the barriers, because at least for me, when I was going to college, there was the kids who were on the student newspaper and they were separate from the kids at the TV station, separate from the kids at the radio station. Maybe there's some crossover, but there were like different silos. And what I would hope something like SPJ could do is bring all of those students together. And then as kind of a second part of that is having the opportunity to go places, meet people that we can't really do as well in a class, but it gives me, I always say, it gives me an excuse to kind of ask students, okay, who would you love to hear from? Who would you love to me to invite to campus? Or let's go shadow them at work and see what they do. Where would you like to go? What do you want to be as a journalist? SPJ gives me an opportunity to then make that happen in a way that I can't just through a class.
Yeah, I think that's so cool how we've given so many opportunities to students. What are some of the various events like field trips you did in the beginning?
I have a friend, Dennis Gorman, who's a sports writer at the Associated Press. And so I was just talking to him one day about, oh, what could I do with these students? Where could we take them? And he volunteered very generously, oh, I can ask, you guys are in New Jersey, how about the New Jersey Devils? Maybe they could get us into a hockey game that Dennis is covering, and then Dennis could show all the students around and take us into the press box, teach us how to be sports journalists. How do you do an interview? How do you write on deadline? All of that. So I remember talking to him about it. And then around the same time, I'd also connected with a theater critic, Ruth Ross, who runs a website, njartsmaven.com. And she's a former teacher, again, very generous person, who said, I can get the students discounted rate at a local community theater in West Orange. They can shadow me as I watch a performance, and then we can talk about the reviewing process. And I think it was around that time that I realized if you just ask different people and different news outlets, a lot of them are going to say yes. Sure, you can come here and see what we do. And so it's just a matter of student interest and kind of gumption on my part of saying, yeah, I'm going to send an email and say, students here would love to go to ProPublica, SNY, WFAN, the sports radio station. We've gone to all of these places. And it's just a matter of asking and hoping that they'll say yes. And I don't think I've really been turned down by many places.
WPSPJ creates so many connections to other journalists, to other broadcast stations or newspapers.